We move straight to business as the Nigerian stock market has enjoyed 6 weeks of positive results, but that paused at the end of trading on November the 5th. The all-share index responded by shedding 0.06% or 6 basis points and closed 42,014.5 points from 42,038.6 points recorded at the end of the previous week to 42,014.5, representing a 0.06% decline. In the same vein, the total equities market capitalization declined by 0.06% to close at 21.93 trillion naira. Joining me live on News Central now is Azeez Lawal, the Managing Director, Trust Bank Capital Management Limited. It's so good to have you join us on the news at this time.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, Azeez. Now, we got positive news and the 6 weeks bullish run in the market halted on the last day of trading last week. What can you say caused this?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I mean, during the week, what we saw was that, market activity faltered compared to what we saw the previous week, as average volume and value traded declined significantly by over 35%. And on the volume side and on the value side, about 40% down to like 2.5 billion. So significantly, we saw profit takers feasting on the stocks of banks, because on the banking on the index chart, the banking index lost over 1.7% to top the losers chart week on week. And we expect the same trend this week, but we'll not be surprised if the bulls fight back, considering the significant news that we are seeing around big tickers, particularly Airtel and MTN last week. But looking at the results that we have seen so far, anyway, we also expect that the bulls most likely bounce back, and recommend that our audience they pay attention to stocks like United Capital. If you can get United Capital at around 9 naira to be it, and you're willing to stay in the market for as long as 6 months, you may do well with it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Azeez. You've hinted us on what we could look at. But we know that MTN and Airtel announced the approval in principle to operate a payment service bank by the CBN, that is the Central Bank of Nigeria. What impact did this have on the market?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very interesting one, right? Yeah, the news has not fully settled into the market, so it's maybe too early to start talking about the impact on the market. That said, it's not too early to talk about the impacts as far as the future of these companies are concerned, because particularly when we know that the market tries on projections. That said, before I go into the impact on that your financial, I'd like to bring in some context as to what a PSB license can do.
Okay.
So with PSB license, commercial license, these telcos can now take deposit, accept public funds. They can handle payments and remittances. They can issue debit and prepayment cards and prepaid cards. So it's safe to see this as a business expansion. So in that regard, we believe this is an interesting development for investors, as the news and the expectation around that will do for MTN's revenue will most likely drive the share price up, definitely, which is good for MTN's planned share sale anyway. In more context, and I'll pick MTN's financials now. Looking at MTN's last 9 months of financial release in 2021, the company recorded a 9-month revenue of about 1.2 trillion, out of which the fintech business contributed approximately 4.2%. That is about 50.2 billion. The PSB license will easily improve this position and possibly double it, considering the company this company's distribution capacity. However, it is worthy of note that this is only an approval in principle. It's an indication that the CBN will issue the license should MTN meet all requirements for the final approval.
Azeez, do you see any fears from this approval?
Do I see any?
Do you see any fears or disadvantages from this approval?
No. It's fintech really, and for the fintech environment in Nigeria, it's still very. We can still say it's still at that baby level. So, for now, except that this approval in principle may be extended beyond the 6 months, like they did for Globalcom. For now, we don't see any possible, except that of course the bank has now are now looking at a strong competition from the telcos who have a strong distribution network as well. So it's an advantage for consumers, it's an advantage for investors. If there's any disadvantage at all, it is to the competitors of these telcos, which are the banks in this case.
All right. Thank you so much, Azeez Lawal, for shedding so much light on this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.